You know, talking about these cards and trying to let us in on what number to expect, specifically here in Lagos, are there any numbers still awaiting collection? For instance, we have so many people saying, well, they have moved. Do you have a situation like that in Lagos where you have cards, well, that have been with you till this moment, people haven't actually shown up?
Yes, we do. We have in our custody now 1.8 million cards.
1.8
exactly
million?
That people are yet to come forward to collect. We open our office every single day of the week to say, please, we are here. Come forward for these cards.
Maybe you should add this to this commentary. Otegbade David says, no INEC official in Shijuade Street, Ijashate do Surulere, and nobody to answer his question at the local government office.
Well, Otegbade would be right if he was talking about yesterday. We were at the local government office. But today, you should go to his polling unit. You will find our staff there.
What time are they supposed to resume and close?
9 in the morning, and then they close at 4.
Okay, that's one case.
So what are some of the challenges that we're saying, especially as regards the elections in Lagos? Do you think that we have sufficient voter education, for instance?
I would think so. Since I came in last month, I was doing some survey yesterday, and I was surprised that I've been to 20 media houses across the state. Apart from my colleagues too, the head of voter education, the head of public affairs, who have also been going around, I was amazed. That's one. But that's when you're talking of radio and TV. We're not even talking of the print media. In addition to this, we also, I think early this month, we engaged the services of 20 civil society organizations, one per local government, for each of the local governments, and we asked them to go around to the grassroots, town hall meetings, rallies, road shows, again to enlighten the public about preparations for the elections and what they should expect on election days, and also the issue of collection of the cards. It was at one of these rallies in Ajegunle that cards that were stolen last year were turned up.
All of them or some of them?
The ones that were stolen in Pala, all of them, over 1,000, stolen before I got here, sometime last year. They were brought back. So 2Us just brought them. Because when they were told that these cards would be useless, nobody who's not the owner of a card can use it on election day. I think they heard that campaign and they came up with that and returned them. So we've been virtually everywhere in the past 2 months or so, practically everywhere, and on a daily basis.
And INEC says even if you clone those cards, the card readers
No,
won't read them.
They won't.
People have been raising questions, though, as to, how to keep the cards. Do you think that there is, need to keep it in a special manner?
Yes, I would say so, that we may be a bit careful with how we handle the cards. But nonetheless, because the card has been married to the smart card reader, it shouldn't be a difficulty on election day to authenticate and verify the contents of the card. The main thing is that the information we have on the card, unlike the ATM, whose chip is outside, you can see it shining there outside. This was embedded deep within. So the possibility, the chances of it getting mutilated are quite much minimized than the average ATM card.
And when we get to see people steal cards, or news from the police that some have been recovered, one wonders if it's possible to use such cards maybe in some other place.
No, the way the cards are configured, each card is dedicated to be used at a polling unit. And the way we've configured the smart card reader, it can only work in that particular polling unit. It cannot work elsewhere. It's not possible for somebody to use a card. First of all, you cannot use somebody else's card, because on the day of election, the moment you bring forth your card, 2 things we're going to do. First of all, to authenticate the card to know whether it's a genuine one or not. So the moment you put the card and swipe it under the smart card reader, it will show whether it's an INEC card or not. Then 2, which is very vital, the voter or the would-be voter will now be invited to put his thumb on a particular point on the smart card reader. The moment it does this, it will throw up all the details if indeed is the owner of that card. So the thumb is the actual key to that. And then because it's configured to that particular polling unit, it cannot go to another polling unit to use the same card.
Is there any center that is cancelled? Because Victor says he registered at Ojota in Lagos, but he cannot find this card. They were told that their center was cancelled.
I'm not aware of that. You know, people peddling information about issues. I'm not really aware. We've never cancelled any center. We have 8,462 polling units in Lagos. We have 245 collation centers where we registered people last year. If anything, we even have more, because on election day, we've broken down the polling units into what we call voting points, and now we have 12,124 polling points across the state, just to hasten the process of voting on election day.
Right.
So, but how do we then address the matter that, you know, where some people registered wasn't where they picked up their cards? And some people say that, you know, at that point, where they had registered and voted in the 2011 elections, nobody was ever present there when it came to the distribution of the cards.
No, what I said earlier was that since February 8th this year, we've moved back to the local government office for distribution.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
So if they went to the collation center or if they went to the polling unit, they wouldn't find our staff there. But today, tomorrow, and Sunday, they should go back to the polling units. They will find us there.
Is it the same thing for Okoba? Because Simeon says in Amusan Street near Okoba, there was nobody in the polling.
I'm aware. Okoba, we had what we call 0 polling units, which meant that in 2011, the entire polling units didn't have any record. And then we had to now print new cards for them. That's why we didn't go there since November last year. We're still waiting for their cards. And once they arrive, we go deliberately there specifically to such polling units.
Is it the same?
It's not the same. It's not the only one. In Ijushaga, we also have 1 or 2 polling units with the same experience. Alimosho, Amadia, we have about the same experience. In Mushi, all over the state.
What about Mafuluku as well?
Mafuluku, Ewutoton. There's even one of people who call me every day, who keep asking for the. I'm aware of what is happening there. Yes.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and then take a look at the card readers. How would they read your cards if you have them? How long will it take? Join us again.